Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm playing normal Ascension, and it's going to be a little bit different because I haven't played normal Ascension in such a long time. But I've decided I was going to play it and see how we roll with it, um, see how it goes with the normal one, uh, and see what all I've missed and such. Um, so this time I'm going to play as a Draenei this time. Um, One thing about the realm that I'm on, which is the free pick realm, not the season realm, is that you can decide what kind of archetypes you want and everything else in between and how you want to go about it. So this time I'm going to run, I'm going to use this character to just kind of like hang out with y'all, talk, idle chatter kind of deal. Um, Nothing really too
The Tree of Wrath is a thunderous healer that harnesses
cool.
the storm's might to electrocute enemies while healing allies.
Huh.
As a Tree of Wrath, your lightning spells jump to nearby parties.
That's cool. That's pretty unique. I was not expecting that at all. Took me by surprise with that. But no, as I was saying, I'm gonna play this character just to hang out with y'all, kind of talk, down to earth kind of deal, and just kind of hang out, just talk. And today's video, I'm primarily going to talk about inspiration. You know, inspiration to be inspired to do things that you may or may not kind of want to do. Maybe you don't know what you want to do with yourself and other types of things. There's tons of people in the world, hundreds of thousands of people who sit on YouTube all day and have a feeling that they can inspire to be something if they put the effort in, but they don't know how to put the effort in, you know? And unfortunately, I am one of those people, and I still kind of am, even though I probably shouldn't be, because I'm doing this now, you know? But regardless of that, um, I'm gonna just get into inspiration after I make this character, and see about what we can talk about and other types of things. So since now I'm starting to get narrated on what classes do, I'm gonna have to shape up and listen in on this. So let's see, kind of what do I want to go for? What do I want to go for? I kind of want to do a combat healer. I've never done healing on this server, so I think it would be pretty interesting. Cryotherapist, mixing frost and holy, tree of wrath, lightning and healing. Shoot blooming arrows and heal allies and cripple foes. Incinerate foes, healing allies with cauterizing flames, or siphon from foes and grant your allies health. Okay.
The
What's
Vampire
this?
Lord is a dark healer, wielding shadow magic to siphon life from enemies and restore allies. Every twisted spell you cast drains life from foes, converting your damage into powerful healing for your group. The more devastation you unleash, the more health your allies regenerate, so keep them rejuvenated by corrupting and destroying foes. Shroud your party in darkness and offer them the gift of eternal life. The
Interesting.
Vampire Lord is a dark healer, wielding shadow magic to siphon life from enemies and restore allies. Every twisted spell you cast drains life from foes. The Fire Sage is an ominous healer that uses searing heat to cleanse allies' wounds. By channeling cauterizing fire, you can restore health to party members or damage enemies with flaming spheres. The Grove Ranger is a druidic marksman that weaves healing into their shots and stings. As a Grove Ranger, you'll dash around the...
Interesting. um, I think I want to go for a healer in this one because if I'm gonna do sort of down to earth talking videos to this channel, I feel like it'd probably be a good idea, at the very least, to ponder that, you know?
The Grove Keeper is a natural healer, a guardian of the ancient waters and Azeroth's
So
wilds.
I would think it
Your
would be.
healing touch spell overflows to one nearby ally,
So I think it would probably
one
be
for
the
half
best
as much
option
as your
for
primary
me
target.
to
Each time you
emphasize
heal,
this,
you move to nature's rhythm, gaining a charge of flow. Unleash 3 charges to increase. The Steward of Eternity is a mystic healer who mixes the power of the bronze dragonflight with arcane magic. By placing timed heals on your party that restore health after a moment, you can turn back the clock on allies' wounds. Cast Line to stabilize allies, then synchronize them to heal multiple friends at once. A blend of arcane master. The Sacred Sentinel is a holy healer that focuses on shields and damage reduction. Your primary spell, Prayer of Preservation, places a blessing on each target it affects. When direct, the Eternal Caretaker is a radiant healer, a stalwart cleric whose spells restore and uplift allies. As an Eternal Caretaker, you special. The Hierophant is a mystic healer who weaves divine energy into their allies. Your Renew spell provides a gentle healing over time effect, and by placing it on many allies, you prepare for a moment of crisis. When the need arises, your Greater Heal spell mends all allies touched by your Renew, causing a burst of healing for your party. The Naturalist is a verdant healer, harnessing the boundless energies of nature to mend and restore. As a Naturalist, you'll plant seeds of healing on allies, which restore their health over time. With your Bloom spell, you can cause the seeds to burst forth with AoE healing, keeping your party moving forward. Tend your garden to lead your allies towards victory. The Naturalist?
I think I'll do the Naturalist. Maybe. It's only natural, right? I joke. I kid. Maybe I won't do a Draenei this time. Maybe I'll do something a bit different. Maybe a human. A human would probably be an interesting one. Human druids. Yeah, why not? I'll do a human druid. Yeah, I think this is gonna work out. I think that'll be alright. And we'll go down through, we'll do Naturalist, and let's say this should be, what? Shady Grove. And then we'll disable it because I don't need no stinking everything. No tutorial. Should be okay. I'll be alright. So, as I was saying, I want to use this little mini series that I'm going to do as a down-to-earth style with you guys.
You need something?
And today we're going to talk about inspiration, as I said before, and inspiration is something that everybody kind of needs in the world. And no one really is really that equipped, right, to kind of deal with that, you know. Some people it comes off easier than others, and so on and so forth. No one really has kind of the idea of what inspires them right out the gate, which, you know, is understandable, right? I mean, does anybody really know what they want with their lives after a while? No, I wouldn't think so. And frankly speaking, I just speak for myself, but there are tons of times where I've kind of wished that somebody would have pressed me, you know, inspired me to do things with my life that I would have never have thought to do for myself. And it is not really, it's not me trying to tell people how to do things, because it's really not. It's just me trying to pass off a bit of just inspiration, you know. Some people need it and others don't, you know, and that becomes a thing to some people. And I want to sit back and just say that, you know, we all have things and faults, and we've done tons of things in our history. And some things that I'm sure there are quite a lot of people that kind of wished that they'd stepped back and paid attention to. You know, really thought about their lives and really thought about what helps them and what will help them in every way. You know, and that is definitely something that some people definitely kind of need in their lives that would kind of help them, you know, and inspire them to be uh, better people, better selves, I should say. Not better people. We all can be better people, but it takes some pushing to do. For me, it took a lot to get me to get going and to really push myself out there to be a better me. And quite honestly, I think it took a lot longer than it probably should have. um, no, but yes. No, but yes, you know. Um, Inspiration can help get people through tough times. And believe me, I speak just only for myself here. I have been through the ringer quite a bit with a lot of things in my life, and I genuinely mean that from the start. I have been pushed down quite a bit in my life, and I'm hoping that there are people out there who are in better positions than they were originally.
How are you?
And
Safe travel.
I'm trying to claw my way to that point, you know. I come from a rough family. We all, generally speaking, we all just don't really inspire one another. We don't encourage family to push up. Um, which I think a lot of people would be surprised about, you know. Because a lot of people tend to have families that either drag them up or drag them down. And my family, unfortunately, is the one that kind of drags down. And I don't like to say that out loud. But it's true. Um, my parents never married. My mom didn't want anything to do with me. She kind of left me behind a lot. And I'm not saying this as to farm sympathy or anything. I'm a better person now. You know, I'm better than what my mother would have probably thought I would get to. Of course, she's better than she was before, but she has not done anything in my lifetime that has tried to make up for it. And I know there are some people out there that do have issues with their parents like that. And frankly speaking, I am no exception. Unlike most people, I don't have father issues. In fact, my dad loves me dearly, and I respect him for that. But that respect only goes so far. Because the amount of times that my dad has fought for me and kind of wanted to inspire me in life and stuff like that, he's never shown up for any school events or you know, he's only ever attended my graduation, and that was one of my peak achievements, you know, graduating from high school, and it was the only time that he's actually came out to attend any of my events. I used to be inspired to do sports, but unfortunately sports never inspired me because I tried to do things that would gain attention from my parents, both of them, and neither one of them really cares. And it hurts. It hurts. My grandmother and my grandfather adopted me at a very young age to get me away from my mother, who was a drug addict. And I'm not afraid to say that. But she was a drug addict. She's not now. She's better. She's getting there, and she's up in the up,
I
up,
goods.
But it doesn't erase the fact of scars of just being abandoned
Well met.
and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes it's hard to talk about, but other times it's not. And frankly speaking, after I talk about this a little more, um, you know, it won't matter too much. But um, pretty much only handling myself for a good chunk of time, because some people out there have better off and I don't, and all that kind of stuff. You know, you go through school and you think, yeah, this is definitely what's gonna get the attention that I want, and it doesn't. And you try to fight for it, but it seems like no matter what you do, it doesn't really work. But that drive, I guess,
See you later.
is the word I'm looking for. The drive to try to claw and gnaw for that, just that shred of attention, that, you'll never probably, well, maybe you will get, maybe you won't. It's hard to say if you will get it. I personally never did. And it just, it can put you in a bind. It can put you in a sad spot. And it is what it is, It genuinely is what it is. And you can only do the best that you can do. And there are people out there who will get behind you, like my grandparents. My grandparents got behind me, but I already had my grandparents' attention, and what I really wanted in my life was my parents' attention. My dad was only allowed to see me once a day. Well, not once a day, once a week. So my dad can only see me once a week, and my mom could have saw me anytime she wanted. The court sided with her, so it's just natural that she could see me anytime she wanted. However, not the case. I only had gotten to see my mom maybe twice a year. 3 times if I'm lucky I'll be able to see her a year. Versus my dad's once a week. Yeah, I got to see my mom 3 times if I'm lucky. Maybe 4 times a year. It goes to show, really, that there are parents out there that you really want to get the attention for that just don't. I'm not saying, my dad's a terrible person. He's a great guy. In fact, I wish he had gotten full custody of me.
Life bless you.
But unfortunately, that's just not how it works in life. And it sucks. And I'm sure there are tons of people out there that are sort of in the same situation. But, most of the time it's father issues. And I have the rare, the anomaly, as I usually called it a lot, and that is mom issues. I have mom issues. But it doesn't hold me down, I still get back up, and I still keep striving, I still try to strive for better things in my life and stuff. And, you can push and push and push and push. Even if you know it's not gonna work. Inspiration is like that. Inspire you to keep going in ways that you probably wouldn't think about, And to really push yourself to that limit can have it can have effects. It can make you a crazy person. It could make you a normal person. It can, in a sense, push you in directions that can help you or make you worse. But you always want to strive for the up and up, And, my videos they're just a hobby to me. You know, it's a hobby in the end. You know, and I kind of wanted to do my own podcast. I do want to do streaming. I do want to do all that kind of stuff. And I kind of want to get on an even playing field with my viewers in ways that they can talk to me about, you know, stuff that they probably wouldn't want to discuss. I ain't no licensed therapist, mind you. I'm just a YouTuber. But I'm a cut of a cloth that believes in, that really believes in the idea of helping people. I'm not telling people to come out and DM me or anything like that. And in fact, if you leave a comment on this video, I won't be able to see it or talk about it until next week. So, if you're somebody who's really in the gutter, I strongly suggest seeking actual licensed help. Because it's the best way that I could probably tell you how to run things in your life, you know? And I just want the best for people. You know, I want to be somebody that people can just kind of sit back, watch, listen, maybe have a good time, leave comments about, like, what do you want me to see, what do you want me to, you know, talk about and stuff. You know, kind of work it out as I go. You know, and all that kind of fun stuff. I like to make things fun, but sometimes I want to get serious. And this is one of those days where I kind of want to be serious, you know, and discuss things one-to-one, you know. Well, it's not going to be one-to-one. It's going to be a good maybe 10 people that are going to watch this video and probably won't even make it to this point. And I know that's going to be the case. You know, there might be one detractor who will watch the whole thing and take something away from it, but 9 times out of 10 with something small as my channel, it's not going to have that impact. And I'm aware of that, you know, and I'm hoping that, you know, eventually people, maybe a year from now, will find this video and go, hey, I remember this video when it was uploaded, or, oh, hey, I didn't see this video was uploaded. What's this about? And then when they look into it and they see that it's just me talking into the ethereal void, talking to myself, thinking, you know, I'm gonna reach across the aisle and gather people's attention, then they'll just be like, oh wow, this is definitely something on par with what some other videos he has done in such and such and such, etc., etc. At least that's my hope. I'm hoping that I could inspire people to do what they want to do, and understand that you may come from a bad place, or you feel like you're in a bad place, but just know that there are people out there that have experienced what you've experienced, and you shouldn't dismiss yourself in a way that harms you. You know, it's not a good thing to constantly put yourself down. And to motivate is to inspire, and to inspire is to motivate. And I'm thinking that I'm going to name this video Motivation and Inspiration. Because there are many, many, many people out there that will definitely want to hear and listen and want to think and reflect and to come up with ideas of how could you solve problems that you have in your life, and to motivate yourself. You know, despite me coming from a bad background, I mean, I'm a C+ student. I grew up with my grandparents because my parents never married, and my mom had nothing to want to do anything with me. And my dad barely wanted to go to my events because he feels shame. And I think that would be a video for another time when I discuss those things. I don't think I want to make a series based on my history and use that as a pity patter tool, but I kind of want to use my history in a way that inspires people to know that things are rough, but when you put your mind to something that you want to enjoy, such as a hobby, for example, this, making videos, is a hobby. You know, inventing and other types of things can help you feel better by getting it off your chest, and kind of sitting back and kind of hoping that through it all, you can find hope that there might be somebody out there who are going through the same thing and is sort of understanding. I'm not saying that I had it the worst, and I'm sure there's tons of people who are gonna, you know, there's gonna be quite a few people that are gonna see this video and think that, you know, oh, you didn't have it that bad. And no, I didn't have it that bad, and I'm not saying I had it that bad. But I had a history that was kind of rough, but not really rough. You know, I got all the attention, attention that I wanted. I had the love that I wanted. I had anything I wanted. I was spoiled by my grandparents to keep me happy, you know, and
What can I do for you?
to take my mind away from, you know, the broken home that I was thrusted upon,
Have a good
thrusted into, that I didn't ask for. And, you know, and it does happen that way.
Hello. See you later.
But, you know, other people have those types of things and other things, and there's people out there, and definitely, for example, there are people that I've known in my life, and I can talk about them too. Like I said, it might be a series of videos, it could be just this one. I never know. I might be motivated and inspired to do more. A nice play on words for today's theme in the video.
Have a good one. See you later.
But, you know, it is going to be what it is. I'm not going to go through a whole summarized events of my life, but there will be topics of that eventually. And I think some people could, you know, be entertained in a weird kind of way of just being able to sit back and go, huh, this guy had it pretty good and rough in some cases, you know, and, you know, it might not all be that bad compared to somebody else. I don't know where the gauge is between having it good and having it rough. And it's kind of hard to gauge that sometimes. And that's why I don't want to jump to conclusions such as, oh yes, I had it rougher than that guy. And I can't back it up. Because, you know, some people have parents that die, that are orphaned, but still made something of their life despite that. You know, and all that kind of stuff. And I was never orphaned. So I can't say I had it that rough. But I'd say that my life was pretty mediocre, at the very least. I was dealt a hand that was unfair. But despite all that, I'm still here. I'm still chugging along. I'm still shuffling through things. I got a nice job. I don't want it, but I've got it. It pays. And that's really what matters in the end, right? Is that it pays. That's what most people look at. And that's fine. And I respect it. But could I just like to sit back and do this all day and make videos all day, stream all day, every day? Yeah, I would. I definitely would. But am I going to get that? Probably. Will I get it soon? Probably not soon. But, you know, hope still holds out. But regardless, talking about my past and doing this is going to be something I'm going to do from now on. Maybe. I'm hoping to be doing it. But I will go through my history, and I'm hoping that people can be motivated into doing things that they want to enjoy. And that's going to be the takeaway of this series. And still falling in line with 30-minute stuff. Unless people want more. Have it longer and have a talk about it. And other types of stuff. But with that in mind, inspiration and motivation is definitely going to be something that I am definitely going to work on in a series of videos that I will push out every once in a while. And I'm hoping that there will be people out there who can get help from it, at the very least. And, you know, all the fun stuff of it all.
You need
And with all that in mind, I'm hoping to see you all in the next episode.
something? Safe travel.
Whether it be gaming, the series that I've done with my paladin, or be it another video about me talking to you guys directly about life and other types of things. And I will definitely be making more kind of down-to-earth videos like this. Now, this video is probably not going to be named something cheesy like motivation, inspiration, but it'll probably be something along the lines of starting a new series. Tell me what you think about me talking to you directly. And then I'll take what I can get from it, and I will do maybe more. Because I am a yapper, I can talk. I can talk about this, I can talk about that. It's why I like streaming. And I feel like streaming and doing this with just no audience is a little hard to do. Because you need people to watch, to have a conversation
How
about it.
are you?
And I don't have that. At least not yet. But I'm hopeful in the
See you
future that it will. You know? And that's all we can ever hope for, isn't it? And with that bit of hope, I hope to see you guys in the next episode. Please leave a like, share a comment about the video, about your experiences if you wish to, if you're comfortable with it. And if you like the idea of me streaming something like this instead of doing a video series about it, I can at least hope to see you in those chats at the very least. And we can have a proper discussion outside the comments.
Can I help you?
But that's for later. And with that, fellas and gals and whoever decides to watch, I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.